there. So I just got done in class. It is very early, and we got our certificates. I graduated. My C school is split into 2 classes. We start our next class tomorrow, and graduated the first class today, and I graduated top of class. So anyhow, several of us are combined in the same class, and and I don't know these people, but me and the guy that I was in A school with, we were together all the way through AWAT, through ATT, through Strand. Like, he's been my classmate this whole time. Then we found out we both had the same platform, that we would be in C school together. I often wake him up because he's sleeping in class. But he's really smart. He absorbs a lot. Like, I don't know how he absorbs it through osmosis as he sleeps. I'm not sure. But he got, like, I was top of class and he was right below me. So he was like, about that. So I think he's alert now, and if they offer another, I'm going to get a handy certificate. We've got to have one of the officers sign it today so that I can get my chief instructor of the class made like a bragging sort of certificate about how I got top of class. But if they offer that same kind of deal again in C school, and whether they offer it or not, I'm still going to try my best, obviously, but I want to, I always see my text message. I'm on my phone. For those of you who don't understand how I'm reading text message, it goes across the top of my screen. I'm going to get right into the A school video. Wow, those that see the title of this that say A school and I'm talking about other crap, they're going to be very mad at me. Here's my A school video. Okay, I'm going to put in the description the first part of the A school video where I talk about Pensacola A school and what happens when you first get there, your first week there, going through NDOC, that kind of thing. And I'm just going to jump right into this. So if you missed any of that first part, go watch it before you go and ask me a bunch of questions, because it might be in the other video also, because I'm splitting this into 2. So I don't know if I mentioned in the other video, but the barracks are split by male and female, and there's a mixed one where like you can earn the right to be there because you get more privileges, blah, blah, blah. I talked about that in the other video, I think. But I started out in the Delta barracks, the all-female barracks, and then I gradually got to the barracks, the other one. I didn't talk about duty sections, though. So when you first get there, you're going to have a folder called your SDR, and that's where they're going to put in everything. You're going to inspect your room when you first get there. If there's any discrepancies, you write them down so that you're not responsible for them when you move out, because like if things are broken or really messed up or there's a hole in the wall, they're going to be like, what's up when you move out? And that if that was there when you moved in, you want to note that so that you don't get in trouble, just like moving into an apartment. That's what you do at apartments. So why am I washed out? Here we go. Oh, I'm dark now. Am I dark? Here we go. How's that? Can we chat? I'll just lean up against the counter and we can chat. So, that's your SDR. And you get what they call a red mark in your SDR if you do anything, if you get an unsat. An unsat is unsatisfactory, and that can be in regards to a room inspection or anything else. So if you get any unsat, you have to sign for it in your SDR, and that's considered a red mark. And that will prevent you for maybe 60 days, maybe 30, I don't know, or ever, to ever get into Foxtrot Barracks, which is the barracks that everyone tries to get into, because that's where, like, you don't have any curfew, like, you come and go as you please sort of a thing, and it's very nice over there in Foxtrot. But, try not to get a red mark in your SDR. Also, because when you finally class up to your classes, whatever they may be, and I'm talking about Pensacola A school, guys. I don't know how it works if you're an MA or if you're another rate. Like, everyone's A school is different, and they operate things. This is just a standard. I'm pretty sure when everyone gets to their A school, there's phases and duty sections, and this is, you know, this is the Navy. So there's going to be duty sections the rest of your life. So you can watch this and maybe get an idea for your own A school, but this is how not CNATU, that's where I am right now. NATTC, NATTC, Pensacola A school is. Then there's Corey Station across the way, and they work things a little differently, but this is basically A school in Pensacola, Florida, NATTC. When you are classed up, you have the opportunity to get automatic advancement, or maybe just even a recommendation for advancement if you are top of your class grade-wise, if you haven't failed any of your PRTs, which in boot camp they call the PFAs. That's the running in a mile and a half and the sit-ups and the push-ups. And you cannot have any red marks in your SDR. Okay, so then if everyone in the class at least has one red mark, you know, and then if everyone has a red mark, which is not likely because I knew a lot of people that didn't have a single red mark. Don't get a red mark. It just looks bad. Okay? Then you have your duty section. When you first get there, you will be assigned a duty section. When I was there, even just as recent as November of 2012, they had 4 duty sections, and I'm talking in reference to the female Delta barracks. I know that Bravo, Alpha, and Charlie, the male barracks, also had 4 duty sections. So if you're a male, expect the same kind of thing, but there could be tiny differences, okay? But there was 4 duty sections, and then a 5th duty section that was like duty section 6, 7, and 8, or something weird, and it was for performing units, okay? And I'll get into that in a little bit. But the 4 duty sections alternated by the day. So let me get out my calendar, my cat calendar, my Lana cat calendar. Okay, shall we? Let's pretend. Let me just open it up here. This is so handy. If you are, I was in duty section 3. So let's pretend that it's January. If you are duty section, they synchronized all the barracks, Alpha, Charlie, Delta, and Bravo, I don't know why I said that out of order, to be on the same, duty section 1 is all the same day, duty section 2, and I remember when that happened, it was when we came back from evacuation, and that was a huge mess, if anyone remembers that. Pissed off a lot of people. All the male barracks had to sync to what Delta was doing, and so some of the guys that had just had a duty day had to stand duty again the next day because it's all even now. Anyhow, so duty section 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're duty section 1, let's start. This was what, the 31st of December. Okay, Monday. That's duty section 2 ended up being that day. It's never going to be like 1 starts at the beginning of the day because there's 4 duty sections and all the months aren't even, so you're never going to have it the same. But we'll pretend that this was duty section 1's day, duty section 2, duty section 3, duty section 4, duty section 1, and then they have to stand. If you stand watch on Friday, like if you have duty on Friday, not stand watch, sorry. If you have duty on Friday, you will have it Saturday and you will have it Sunday also. So that was duty section 1 all weekend. And then duty section 2 starts this Monday. Remember, duty section 1 started this Monday. Duty section 2 starts at this Monday. So then duty section 3, duty section 4, duty section 1, duty section 2, and then 2 stands it the entire weekend. Duty section 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, stands it on Friday, stands on Saturday, stands on Sunday, duty section 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 stands it all weekend long. That's how they worked it. That was how duty sections worked. So if you don't know what a duty section is, it's basically, okay, when you are, this goes for the Navy. When you get into the fleet, you will be in a duty section. Duty sections are basically, you have the whole division or the whole barracks or the whole, your command or like whatever entity you are a part of, they will have duty sections. Because it was an A school and it was a living situation, the entity was Delta Barracks. Well, part Foxtrot too, but. So Delta Barracks was split into 4 separate groups, and they were called duty sections. And when you are a member of that duty section, on your assigned duty day, you will muster, which means you will take roll at different parts of the day. I think it was, because during the work week, you were in school all day. In the evenings, you mustered at 17, it's been a long time, I don't remember, 17:45 and 20:30, I think. And at each time you muster, sometimes you clean and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just have to show up, they call roll, and you say you're there, they take note of that, and you're good to go. Otherwise, you might end up cleaning during your musters. And then on the weekends, like on Saturday, you will muster at 7:30? No. 10? No. 7:30, I think. 10, 13, 17:45 and 20:30. I could be completely making that up. But on Saturday and Sunday, like if it's your duty weekend, you're mustering all day long, and you're cleaning maybe at some musters and maybe not. That is your duty. You alternate duties, and then the next day it's a different duty sections day, and you don't have to worry about anything. Also comes with duty is standing watch. There, you will stand watch you start it in boot camp. You will always stand watch, no matter what. Standing watch doesn't necessarily mean you're standing watch. It could mean you're sitting at the desk signing people out on the Liberty log. Liberty is your free time, and they need to be accounted for, so people have to sign in and out. I talked about that on the other video. And your watch could be Liberty Card watch, or you could be standing the quarterdeck watch in your dress whites, calling attention on deck when officers come, and making sure people are in proper dress codes when they leave the quarterdeck, making sure no one, you're manning the barracks, you're the quarterdeck watch. There's a ton of different watches, but that's what you do on your duty days. You clean, you muster, you stand watch. Maybe you stand watch, maybe you don't. And I don't know if they do it anymore, but as recent as a few months ago, they still were. If you did good on your room inspections, or if you got an outstanding, there's a scale of how good you can do. Outstanding is the best, unsat is the worst. Then there's like sat, good, excellent, outstanding. I don't know what the scale is because all I ever got was excellence. But you get room inspections, and every Thursday, if they do it the same, every Thursday at 15, you will have a room inspection, and you will clean your room like mad. I had a whole entire list written down. I got an outstanding on every single room inspection except for one, I think, the whole time I was there. But this is how they had it. This is how they had it in Pensacola. If you get an outstanding, you could, and it's recorded in your SDR, that folder. Remember I told you about that folder that all the yeomans, which is the desk clerk people, I'll talk about them too, in the front, they will have your SDR in alphabetical order per duty section, and they'll look you up, and they'll see that you have an outstanding, and you will be able to put in a request chit. For those of you who don't know what a chit is, there can be chits for everything. A chit is basically like it could be a request, it could be, like you could have a chit. Chits are, gosh, I wish I had a better way of explaining it. Some people have chits that they, like a boot chit. They can't wear boots. You have to wear boots with this uniform, but if you have really bad blisters and stuff, like in boot camp, you get a tennis shoe chit. And if you get called out and you're like, why are you wearing tennis shoes in that uniform? You have this piece of paper, your chit, you pull out of your pocket, and you're like, I have a tennis shoe chit. And it's all up to date, signed by medical and all that. There's that kind of chit. There's also a chit that you sign like when you make a request, like I was saying about the outstandings. You can take a duty day off. So say if you had duty day on Wednesday, all of your friends are going to the beach, you really wanted to go, you had an outstanding in your SDR, you could fill in a request, a chit, asking for that day off. I have an outstanding in my SDR, I want to use my outstanding for this duty day off, and then you can either approve or deny it. And I believe it had to be 7 days prior. You had to get your chit in before it was accepted. You couldn't be like the day before, be like, yo, can I have tomorrow off? I have an outstanding. They've done it in some cases, but usually they require a week. But if you have 3 outstandings, you can take an entire duty weekend off. You can't take just 2 days. You either take 1 day at a time or you take the whole entire weekend. And I took off every single duty weekend that I was there. I stood watch like once because I did have to stand duty on one duty weekend because of the hurricane, and we didn't have room inspections, and so I couldn't earn my outstandings. And then they canceled room inspections 1 week, and I was really mad because I never stood watch, I never stood duty at all, ever. The whole time I was there. It pays off to be a squared away sailor and have your stuff on point and get outstandings all the time because there are privileges. And I used all my outstandings to, when you request a whole entire duty weekend off though, they take 3 of your outstandings, and then you accumulate more outstandings during room inspections, and then you take 3 at a time you can use to take off your duty weekends, and that's what I did. But unlike just a single duty day, if you request a whole entire duty weekend, you have to write a little paragraph as to why you want it. Like I would write, I wrote some pretty cheesy ones because it was just hilarious to me, and Carter knows all about those because she was a yeoman. But I would write, due to my striving for excellence, blah, 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 and my attention to detail, I've I've earned outstanding time after time, and I've worked so hard, blah, blah, blah. I think I deserve a day off. Or you could say, like, my family's coming into town, and I really want this weekend off. Or, just you write a paragraph, you get your weekend off chit, you hand it to the yeomans, you'll sign a logbook saying, for accountability, because then they'll say, you didn't hand it in, but it's in the logbook. They account for everything, so they can't say they lost anything. But that's how you get duty weekends off. And that is all about duty, okay? So then there's waiting to class up. This is already 15 minutes long. I'm gonna cut this off. No. Fuck it. You guys can watch it in increments. You can be in control of how long you want to sit here. I'm gonna make this video, just make it all the way through. We're going for the gusto. So let's get into waiting to class up. Chances are you're going to wait at least a week or two, even if you're APAC'd, which is the same as like people that are not airmen, they're seamen, they're SPAC, I think. I only ever hear APAC because I'm an airman. I'm not used to the seaman world. Sorry. You will wait to class up. If you're like an AE or an ATI or an ATO, like I was, I'm an ATO, we wait a long time to class up. So do AMEs. AMs, there's a bit of class up wait time. Same for ATCs or ACs, air traffic controllers. They have a little bit of wait time too. But the people that wait the longest are generally, in my mind, the AEs, the PRs, and the AMEs. And then ATI, ATO wait pretty long too. And everybody else I don't really know about. Like ADs might wait. Okay, the amount of time I waited to class up was 7 weeks. So when I first got to Pensacola A School, I had to, when you first get there also, I'm backtracking. You need to learn to stand those watches, right? So that first week that you're there, when you do the in-dock, when I talked about in the other video, you're going to have to stand UI watches, under instruction watches. You'll have this packet of stuff. It's going to seem very overwhelming. If you get there and you're confused, let me know because I'll talk you through it. Because yeomans there can be very rude, so can your roommates. Everyone can be very, very angry there. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. But when you first get there, you'll get this big packet of all these watches you need to learn how to stand. And you'll have to sign on this clipboard that I never signed. I just went up to the watch when no one was standing there. You have to get inspected. Okay, get this packet of stuff. It'll have quarterdeck watch or service entrance watch or phone watch, OD phone watch, or messenger watch. What else was there? There was a lot of, gosh dang it, there was a lot of watches. So they're all listed in this packet. So you get dressed in the proper attire for your watches, which is usually your dress whites or your peanut butters or your NSUs. And 10 minutes prior to you standing your watch, you will, and that's any watch, not 10 minutes prior, I don't know why I said 10 minutes, because I waited 10 minutes, that's all I did. But you're supposed to get inspected an hour before your watch. You post at the MTIs, which is all of the petty officers in charge of your barracks. They're behind this huge desk where all the yeomans are. They're airmen, just like you and me. We're nobodies. We get there and we get this little job, right? So they're just like you. They don't know any. Well, they know a little bit more because they're yeomen, but don't be intimidated. They're not higher up like they like to. Like some yeomans. Carter was the best yeoman ever. Carter never did that, but some yeomans were BITCHs. But you'll post there, and you'll be like, petty officer, or if you know he was an AE1 or AM1 or whoever, A1. You'll knock 3 times, and he'll say, report. And you say, good evening, AE1. Airman Lango respectfully request uniform inspection for messenger watch. And then so he'll start inspecting you, and he'll look at your uniform if you've got wrinkles, if your ribbons are crooked, if you have a stain or whatever, and then he'll say, up, bow, face, and then you turn around, and he'll inspect the backside, make sure you don't have anything wrong. And if there's anything wrong with you, because you went there an hour before your watch, you have time to go back, iron. Some people had to go back like 3 or 4 times because it was just bad. But you have to do that before you stand your watches. Even UI watches, even real watches, when you get there, you have to get inspected because they'll mark you off that you were inspected. So as a UI, you'll have this packet, you have to get in the right uniform, go get inspected, and then there's a clipboard that you can sign up for times that you want to stand the UI watch, but like I said, I never followed that. But you would go then to once you got your uniform approved, you would go to the quarterdeck watch and stand there with your little packet, and they would tell you how to stand the watch. You would listen, ask questions, and then the person that was teaching you, that was standing the quarterdeck watch, they would take your packet and they would initial all of the boxes. They would initial, like, yeah, I told her this, learn that, whatever. And then she'll hand it back to you, and then she'll write her name. Make sure you get her printed first and last name, because they have to sign their name in each of the blocks, and they do it. There's tons of UI watches. That quarterdeck has been standing there teaching a ton of people how to do this watch, and she just signs. And sometimes she will forget to write her name in print, and you have to have that, because when the end comes and you've got all your UI watches from all these people signed, and then the MTIs check it, because you have to take a test after your first week. You've been there a week, you need to take the test on Saturday or Sunday or something. Maybe it's 2 weeks. I don't remember, but they'll tell you when you get there. But you have to take a test, and you either pass it or you don't. And if you don't, you get an unsat. And this test is about standing watch, basically, and then about different schoolhouses and things. And it's a test that you take when you get there, and you have to pass it. So the first week is kind of sucky when you first get there. You come out of boot camp so structured, ready to go. You get to A school, you kind of have this freedom, but they give you all this stuff to do, and you're overwhelmed. Like, I wanted to go back to boot camp when I first got to A school. I was like, oh my gosh, I hate it here. I'm overwhelmed. I was also very sick, but I'm better now. So UI watch the MTI will take that packet and look through and see who taught you, right? And if there's not a name, like for quarterdeck watch, he sees all these signatures that he can't read. He was like, well, who taught you, who did you stand under for this under instruction watch? And you're like, I don't know. And you don't know the girl's name because you're new. She might not stand watch for a long time. And all you have is a scribble signature and you can't tell her name. You'll have to stand that watch again. So make sure that they print their name. There's going to be a bunch of blocks that they do their signatures, and her name needs to be printed just at least on the first one so that you can tell who she is, because they need that. So that's UI watches. What was I talking about? Okay, then it's 21 minutes long, and I had a text message. Somebody wants to come pick me up to go study, and I don't want to go study. I want to make these videos. So I need to stop this video, and I'll come back in another one. I'm sorry, but I need to answer this text message, and I can't do that while I'm recording, okay? I'm going to come back, and I'm going to talk to you about waiting to class up and barrack support, okay? All right.